Hello and welcome to the InternView, a series focused in on checking in and catching up with Actors Express's interns of the past, present, and future. I am Eliott Grenier, and I am a current acting intern at Actors Express, and I have a very special guest today. She was an intern for the 2017-2018 season. She received her BFA in musical theater as well as an MBA in marketing from Brunel University. She has been in The Color Purple and The Harvey Milk Show at Actors Express, just to name a few. She has done some amazing work for nonprofits like helping the AIDS Walk Atlanta, and is currently the developing manager and intern liaison at Actors Express. Precious Wes, thank you for coming to meet with me.
That was an amazing intro.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
Well, thank you for taking the time. So, to start things off, what got you into acting in the beginning?
I guess we can take it far back in the olden days when I was 6 and I was super obsessed with Annie, the musical. And I was like that kid that wrote Annie as my first name on all of my school assignments. And my teacher would like circle it out and be like, "This isn't Annie, this isn't your name." And she'll call me Precious, but I wouldn't answer her. And then my mom finally took me to see Annie at the Fox Theater. And I was that kid that was like, "Maybe far away," like in the audience, being a hot mess. And everybody looking around me and saying, "You should be on that stage." But so then fast forwarding it to high school, I went to Tucker High School in DeKalb County, and unfortunately, DeKalb County doesn't necessarily have any arts programs, unlike Fulton County or Hall County or all the other surrounding counties around Atlanta. And so we didn't even have a drama club. So honestly, I was planning on going to Brunel University to be an education major because I wanted to teach early childhood education. And one day I just had like this random dream over the summer that I wanted to act. And so it just so happened that they had a theater program because like I didn't even like research Brunel to be a part of GTA. They had a theater program. I changed my major from early childhood to musical theater. And the first audition that I ever had was my freshman year for Hairspray the Musical. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I literally went up to the pianist and I was like, "I don't even have any music. I can sing." And I sung "Who's Loving You" by Michael Jackson. Like that was literally my audition. And I got it, thank God. And you know, since then it's all gone uphill, but yeah, I've always loved being a goofball. I like inspiring others to help find their happiness. You know, I like to mentor. So that's really how I got with acting.
What was your first introduction to Actors Express then, from your experience of loving theater and then having what ended up becoming your career?
I just graduated from Brunel University with my BFA in musical theater, and my good friend Greg Hunter, he also went to GTA, and he told me, he's like, "Precious, I'm in Rent, and I know your sister is obsessed with Rent. Like she's a Rent head. You guys got to come check out Rent at Actors Express." So I brought my mom, my at the time boyfriend, who is currently my husband, and my sister, and we saw Rent on stage at Actors Express, and I fell in love. And I was like, "This is amazing. Like, this is professional theater. I could see myself on the stage."
From there, then you auditioned for the internship, and then you booked it. What was that experience like? Was that stressful for you? Was that exciting? What were your thoughts at the time?
I literally didn't know what the heck I was getting myself into. Like, I don't even remember like how I got it. I don't know if I auditioned for like, I auditioned for something. I'm assuming Freddie was there, saw me, and invited me to come down to audition. I went and I sung "On My Way" from the musical Violet. And I did "A Raisin in the Sun" monologue. And somehow Freddie was like, she's going to be a good pick.
Yeah.
But I was so nervous. But I will say that audition was one of the best auditions I've ever done in my life.
That's interesting because normally everybody is like very hyper analytical of themselves post audition. So you thought you nailed it.
I thought I nailed it, but surprisingly, I didn't hear anything from Freddie until July. So I was like, oh man, I nailed it. I'm so excited. And then once I didn't hear back from 2 weeks after, I completely forgot about it until he called me in July. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is still a thing. I forgot I auditioned for this.
So then what was it like then coming into the room for the first time meeting your intern group?
It was very weird because the year that I was there, we had 3 people who went to SCAD. So we
Oh,
had Paige, we had Ebony, and we had Sam. And so they all like knew each other in some weird way. And then we had Gil, and I love Gil. He's one of my closest friends, but I was like, the vibe I got from Gil, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna be cast in all the shows. Like, he just has that look. Like, and then I saw Triumph and Jeremiah, and I actually sat in between both of them, and somehow we clicked. Everything was like Gucci gravy, and yeah, it was a very weird experience. Like, I went in there like super shy, and I left with like 8 of my best friends still to this day.
that's awesome. Yeah, and it seems like that's the environment that everybody wants to foster, right? You know, you want to start off on the right foot.
Yeah. Like, don't say too much. Like, don't make any lame jokes. What if no one thinks you're funny? Like, just listen.
What were some of the biggest challenges you faced?
I actually had a pretty smooth sailing the first half because I wasn't in our first show, which was The Christians.
Mhm.
I was just on run crew. And that was super fun because I had experience from building when I was in college. So it wasn't a lot of stress in that. It was super chill and relaxed. The first big experience was when I got the understudy gig for Cardboard Piano, and IDL had an African accent, and I was like, what the hell would make Freddie think I could do this? Like, did I put I am fluent in accents on my resume? Like, what is wrong with him? I was freaking out. Like, I was overanalyzing everything. I was super nervous, and somehow it just clicked in my head, and I was like ready to go on. I never went on, but I was ready. And when we did our intern performance, it was super relieving and relaxing just to know that like I could do something, because that was probably the most challenging thing that I've done, was to learn an African accent. And obviously as an African American, I had like so much pressure that I unnecessarily gave myself, because I'm like, I gotta represent. Like, I can't just be going out here with some whack accent. Like, everybody that is Black is gonna be so disappointed in me.
And on the flip side, then, what were some of your best experiences? What was something that you really thought you enjoyed or succeeded in?
I got actually cast in The Color Purple. That was probably the most thrilling thing of it all, just because it was like, I know I got that not because I was just an intern, but because I was just as good as everyone else that was on the stage. And I also felt like this need, because it is, you know, a historic Black musical, the need to do my best. And then on top of that, I got the chance to be the assistant choreographer. So it was just super thrilling, and I got so much satisfaction out of it. It felt like I worked hard, because I was able to take all of the lessons that I learned from my classes that we took, just from being understudies in some shows. Like, and this was like my time to actually work on everything that I learned throughout the year.
As your group ended, you know, it's like you go through this journey, you had your struggles, being put into a situation you didn't know what to do, and then you picked it up. to then getting cast in a show and feeling super empowered by that and validated. Oh, then your internship wraps up and ends. What was the next step for you?
I have honestly no idea what that next step was. Thankfully, I got a lot of auditions afterwards, which was super like rewarding. From The Color Purple, I would like to think The Color Purple helped lead me to getting other auditions like at the Alliance Theater and True Colors Theater and all of that other stuff. But I did a lot of auditioning and I didn't get cast in a single show. And I was like, so this is the work. Like, what the heck? How dare you call me in, you know, for all of these gigs and stuff. And it's just me and the other person. And I'm not good enough to be that one person. Like, I'm always second best. And it was really hard for me to like get over that and be like, no, Precious, you're going to get 30 no's before you get that one yes. Like, it's okay. This is the work. You got to put it in. Like, you're not going to be in every single show. And then I got cast for Warner Brothers production of The Polar Express.
Oh.
And I got to be the swing. So I'm like, this is really where the entire year of being a swing, being an understudy, really played its part, because like it was the most crazy experience ever. So we're sitting on a train, a live moving train, doing a live production of The Polar Express. And each car, it's 6 cars, has a different timeline because the hobo and the boy and Santa, they're all going through each car doing a different scene. And so I was the swing of 18 different roles, but you also have to be prepared to go on at any time. And I will tell you, I played all 18 roles.
Wow.
And it would be like, I did one show, and then 45 minutes later, I had to go to another car to do another show because someone lost their voice or someone hurt themselves. So like, it was exhausting, but the most thrilling thing. And I truly do not think that I would have been as successful as I was doing that show if it wasn't for Actors Express.
What was it like then being hired on as the development manager at Actors Express?
It was bittersweet in a very weird way, because after I got my master's, I had a really hard time finding a job like any other normal person in 2018, 19, 2020. It was so weird because it was like, okay, guys, I've done exactly what you said. I got a degree. I got 2. I have experience. Hire me. But it was just like, it seemed like despite the fact that I got my master's, I wasn't good enough. In some weird way. And so when Alex emailed me and was like, hey, Precious, we need a development manager. I know you have your master's. Would you be interested in working at Actors Express? It was just a click. I was like, you know what? There's no place that I would rather be than Actors Express. I know when I'm at Actors Express, I don't have to worry about anything because it is my home. So I guess normal nerves that a person would have when they're starting a new job or starting a new career path, I didn't have it at all. Like, I felt very valued and very reassured about the entire process.
And I know that things are really weird right now specifically. I know we had a meeting a while back about how you've been crazy busy with grants and all that other stuff. Tell us what it's like right now for you. What are the things like in the world of Precious in the day-to-day?
So it's really crazy. Since the shutdown and the world coming to an end, I basically have been on like overdrive. Like, typically I would send grants and like apply for about 20 grants throughout an entire fiscal year. So from July to June, that's how many grants that I typically would apply for it, because it's what we've always done before. And when I was applying for these new grants, I wasn't necessarily getting in. But the good thing about COVID is that a lot of opportunities, new opportunities came along to where not necessarily we would have been able to get before. So within March to August, I've applied for about 20 to 25 new grants and loans to Actors Express to keep us sustained throughout the pandemic. And I have about a 90% success rate. Wow. Which is super amazing, but also, again, that how much work I've done within these couple of months is usually how much work I would do over the span of an entire year. So I have been on literally overdrive, like applying for every and any grant that I can figure out so that, we don't have to worry about anything, because it's my job to, do that, along with the individual givings from our patrons, and creating programs such as the A-List, which is a monthly recurring donation to give to our patrons. So if they can't give us like a huge lump sum of like $1,000, maybe they would be more interested in donating to Actors Express $10 a month. So it's really allowed me to think outside of the box and really reach out to these different organizations that I wouldn't necessarily have done before.
You're really trying to make sure you find ways to keep theater alive.
Exactly.
Especially with how difficult it is right now. So you're the intern liaison. What does that look like? And is there anything, it's the position that's been newly created. What are some changes that you would like to talk about?
I just think about my experience as an intern. I think about the positives and the negatives. And I just think about how I can make that a better experience for future interns. And I'm talking about like reducing the workload, reducing the total amount of hours that are being spent inside the theater. Also focusing on other things that these interns are interested in besides acting, because the reality is that yes, we can get gigs for acting, but we can also get gigs for, working backstage. That includes doing sound design. That includes doing directing, light board ops, lighting, all of that stuff, things that we can also put on our resume. So just in case we aren't in a gig in January, we can get one for other reasons, because that's what really makes us well-rounded artists. And I believe that if we are able to focus on things that our interns are also interested in and helping them expand on those interests, that will allow them to be more hireable, leaving the intern program, but also making the intern program more sustainable and equitable for everyone.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited to see how things develop over time. We're all trying to figure out the new normal, but it sounds like you're doing an amazing job. Well, with that, then I think it's time that we wrap up. Do you have any final words for anybody who might be listening?
I feel like the biggest thing for anyone, whether you're working in administration or whether you're an artist, is really think about creating opportunities for yourself. Because a lot of times, we get stuck in this, oh, woe is me, I'm getting cast in all of these shows, but nothing's really happening. Like I don't feel as successful as I was before. This is really the time for us to think about other things that we could be creating, and are there ways to feel fulfilled in different ways. So right now, I'm not choreographing, I'm not being in any shows. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, how can I create an opportunity for myself? How can I still put myself on a platform to be recognized by different people in the community? And so one thing that I'm doing is I'm creating a podcast, and it's going to be called The Ghost Among Us. I don't know. The title's still to be determined. But basically, I'm going to be, me and my sister, we're going to be creating a podcast about ghost stories. That's all I got. It's still in the midst of creation. But again, this is me making opportunities for myself, especially during this time. If you're not able to come out this pandemic with more ideas with different ways to market yourself as an artist, then you should be. And it's not too late. You can still do it now. We're probably going to be in this for another, month? We have nothing but time. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Precious. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.